Chakalaka.
Got this thing surrounded. Best draft coverage in the nation all spring and into the draft, the final weekend in April, once again here on your home of the Cowboys. Here's Stephen Jones on the status of George Pickens.
It's just take time. We want, we want Pickens here. Think the world of him. Want him here, love him, and I think he wants to be here. So all that's
you, man.
I put guys on the tag before, and they've been to everything. Pollard, Schultz, even Dak, D-Law, I think, as well.
Yeah, we've had people play under the tag, and then we've made deals with people,
there you go.
that have a tag and can go either way. And so we'll just, continue to, really analyze the situation and see what's next.
Okay, so
next.
When he said, think the world of him, love him.
Yeah.
I mean, Steven's kind of a stiff upper lip kind of guy. It's a pretty strong emotion for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that they absolutely want him here. From everything that they've
positively
said
want him
about all the interviews they did and other defensive coordinators talking about how challenging it was to defend them. Christian Parker basically echoing those sentiments at his press conference. I mean, George they've got the offensive side of the football figured out now for the most part.
Yeah.
You can always make it better. They got to figure out their backups along the offensive line. What do they want to do with Terrence Steele? Do they want to play Tyler Smith at left guard? I think that's probably what they're going to do. Or is the left tackle thing serious? There might be some changes along the offensive line, but otherwise, you're set at receiver with George. You just re-signed Javonte Williams.
There you go.
You got to hope Jaden Blue learns how to be a pro. They really are going to need to just spend their attention and focus on defense because you're good enough to win on offense.
You are. And if George Pickens isn't back, then I feel like you lose your offensive identity. You lose the ability to threaten the defense in that way that free things up for your run game. And it really would then put into question, do you have enough offensively? You bring George Pickens back, you have enough offensively.
Boom, chakalaka.
I think it also clarifies how the organization feels about him as compared to Micah Parsons. When you say think the world of him, love him. I don't remember him saying anything that strong about Micah Parsons last summer at all. And that was reflective of truly how the organization felt about him, whether it was the players or the coaches. I don't think there were many people that were willing to stand by and say, we love Micah Parsons. He needs to be back. As good as he was on the field, George Pickens is just one of the guys a little bit more.
Yeah, we talked about this a bunch for a couple of years where we were starting to hear the whispers within the organization, like there were people thinking that it would be a mistake.
They were sick of his shit
to re-sign Micah Parsons. There was a lot of that going on there. The funny thing about it with George Pickens is they're totally okay with George being late. They realize they're like, okay, George plays at a really high level, and we know there's going to be some issues with George, and you know what? We're okay with it. We love George.
Yeah.
We're all right with George being late. As long as George shows up on Saturdays and sometimes on some Mondays.
David, I got to talk to you about the draft too, buddy.
Yeah.
I think he's the definition of a guy that just marches to the beat of his own drum, and he's kind of a free spirit out there. And if you try to harness a free spirit, it's not going to go your way. So you just let him be him. And as long as you're respectful and you produce when you're here, it's one thing to be late guy and then show up mother bleeping everybody and having tons of attitude, but he's get along nice guy. Yeah, nobody, as long as you're not an opposing DB.
Nobody that I've talked to over there has ever said a bad word about George Pickens other than him being late.
Yep,
that's the only bad thing I've ever.
Teammates love him, and I think that's the big difference. If you're just looking at like, okay, how are you comparing the situations with Micah? Clearly, you didn't have everybody on the team that thought that he was necessarily personality. Maybe they didn't get along, whatever reason it was. The teammate stuff was a little bit questioned.
Okay, on George potentially not reporting, I don't have a cut here, but I have the quote. He says, it crosses your mind. A lot of the guys we've tagged participated in everything. Dak leading the way on that. He never missed anything. Hopefully that'll be the case here. There's a couple of ways of talking about this. Number one, what would you do? And it's tough to say exactly what you would do in that position. But I think if I'm just trying to put myself in those shoes, I know a couple of things. Number one, Dak did it, and he's the team leader.
Yes.
And I wouldn't want somebody setting a very high standard for how we negotiate this and not trying to meet that myself. Especially if you know that the Cowboys are still going to pay you. You know, if you would sign that tag, go practice, and worst case scenario happens, and now you're not going to play at all in 2026, what are the Cowboys going to do next offseason? At worst, just tag you again and do $34 million. So I don't know what the downside is of reporting and showing up and trying to build on the offense unless your agent genuinely feels like this is going to crush our leverage. But we know every time the Cowboys gave Dak Prescott more than anybody's gotten at quarterback still by a significant amount. Yeah. You know, they might actually reward you because they feel like your commitment to the star
because you're the
and
team player.
Your loyalty through a franchise tag negotiation is above and beyond. So that's the way I look at it. I wouldn't do it, and I don't think there's a logical reason to sit out unless you're Mulligetta just trying.
Well, yeah, I have to say that, you know, I hope George Pickens does show up for all the off-season workouts and things and will negotiate in good faith and everything else. And I want you to understand, you know, here at the Dallas Cowboys, you need to trust the process, and you definitely need to hit the like button for Jobu Sports because, you know, that's my favorite program there. That Mark Holmes there, you know, he's a little bit on the crazy side, but, you know, he'll get you all riled up, and he'll actually make some sense from time to time. Not all the time now, not all the time, you know. There's times where, you know, he kind of gives me a whole lot of shit there, but, you know, he never lies on me, so we appreciate all that he does for spreading the brand and bringing the Cowboys nation together, you know, even when we're serving you fans a shit sandwich. You know, we love when they tell people that Kenneth Murray's going to be really good because he was a first-round draft pick, and, you know, that Kyler Elam and stuff, because we knew those guys, but that they just sucked ass, and we were just reaching to try and get something on the field. And, you know, those YouTubers out there, they're out there telling you that Everfuss is a good coach and he's done some great things, and you know, we'd be nothing without those guys. We really wouldn't be nothing without those guys. But you know, we're doing some things here with the Cowboys, and Jerry, I've got him locked up in a closet right now, and I'm running things a little bit different than he did before. You know, Jerry, he likes to put his fat fingers on everything and control everything. And I'll be honest with you, I know I got a degree in chemical engineering, but that shit don't do a thing when you're out here trying to circumcise a mosquito. But I realize that I'm limited in the things that I can do, that I don't have the wherewithal that my daddy has. And so I'm delegating a lot of this work, and we're going to lean on Brian Schottenheimer, and he's the one that ended up getting Christian Parker here and all these great young talented guys. And we're hoping that we can get this thing right because, you know, as you Cowboy fans out there that have been, you know, faithful and giving me all this damn money, so much damn money. I mean, who would have thought? Who would have thought that we'd be worth about $14 billion damn dollars here? You know, I sit around here in my office drinking some cheap whiskey and shit and things, and the money just keeps on rolling in. So we appreciate you guys, and we're going to go ahead. We're going to spend some money here. You know, we used to believe in our own guys. And we found out that most of our own guys weren't as good as some of the guys that were out there. You know, that George Pickens, yeah, we love him, man. George, you know how many damn jerseys George Pickens sold out there? And, you know, when he was going around just kind of doing 360 catches and everything else, you know, he made us look like we were really smart there trading that third-round pick. So we're going to keep him around here. And, you know, that Brandon Aubrey, that guy's kicking from downtown, man, breaking all kinds of records and shit. We're going to work on trying to get a long-term deal for him, but, you know, if we don't get it done, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put a second-round tender on it because, you know, we like tender. Oh, man, we like tender, especially those steaks being tender, juicy, and flavorful. I'm sorry, I digress. But we're going to put that second-round tender on. And that gives us then the opportunity to let somebody else do the legwork for us. Legwork. You see what I did right there? We're talking about the kicker and the legwork. It's some great shit right there. But that gives us the opportunity that if somebody really wants them, they put an offer in for him, and we can match it, or if we don't want to match it, we can actually get a second-round pick for that guy, and it'll be fantastic. So, we're looking at free agency, and we're looking at some restructuring, and we're going to get this thing right and stuff. So, I appreciate you guys, and we just love when we get to the combine here. What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Stephen Jones, we appreciate. Hey, let's give Stephen Jones a hey, Stephen, we appreciate you. You know what I appreciate? I appreciate you guys being here and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. But before we get in too deep, let's take care of my good buddies from Sleeper.
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using code JOBO. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
All right, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, joining, and being part of the show. Let me say hello to Lady Libra, double dipping on both channels. We got the lovely and talented Holly Pierce. What's going on, Holly? One of the San Francisco 49er haters here, Victor Davis, what's going on? Joe DeMasi in the house. Sugar Daddy Williams. Alan Williams is here. Georgie George is in the house. And let's see who else we got here. Anthony Sports. We've got Sugar Daddy. We got Logan Motorsports and Thomas Garrett. What's up, Thomas? How are you doing tonight? Welcome, everybody. We've got a busy day. It's crazy that it was just 2 weeks and 1 day ago that the Super Bowl happened, that we're in the off season. But when we're talking about football, there is no off season. There is no off season because today is the convention, that I like to call it, which is the combine, where everybody descends upon Indianapolis. Now, see, I'm going to tell you, now we were talking about Super Bowl locations. I do have to say, even though it is a cold weather city, that Indianapolis is another one of those places that is geared up to be able to have big events. Unlike San Francisco. Yeah, Victor, I'm throwing shade at you. Michael Irvin said, hey, don't ever put a Super Bowl again in San Francisco. And I have to agree with it because San Francisco, the city, is 43 miles away from Santa Clara. But see, when you're in Indianapolis, it is cold. There is snow and everything else that's out there, but all of it's linked together by tunnels. Once you're downtown, you never have to go back outside. And that place is great. And that's why they have the combine there every year. We got the owners. We've got the GMs. We got the coaches. We've got the agents. And we've got the future Hall of Famers. That's right. Oh, shit! All there right now. And we had Stephen Jones. We had Stephen Jones here talking to us about all things that are going on. Now, I'm going to say we have been afraid, or we've been told. We've been told so many different things that, and some of it's been told by the Joneses and things. I remember a few years ago, I can't remember if it was Charlotte Jones or Stephen Jones, but they were talking about their father's mortality. And they said, when Jerry's gone, we will probably take less risk. I was like, risk? Risk? What the hell risk are you guys taking? Seriously? Risk? You ain't taking any risk since Brandon Carr in 2012. A risk is trading 2 picks for Joey Galloway. Now, it blew up in your face, but that's a risk. A risk is hiring Jason Garrett after having 1 year being an offensive coordinator. That's a risk. Not a good one, but that's a risk. It's like, what risk have you taken? What, signing Greg Hardy for $8 million, after he got away from, the whole guns and stuff on the beds and beating his girlfriend up? That's the risk you're talking about? You ain't taking any risk. The only risk you're probably taking is going to 7-Eleven to get some damn wine. That's the only risk y'all have taken. So we've heard Stephen Jones talking about, when you have to go out in free agency, you're going to spend good money. You're going to spend top money on average players, and it's because you messed up in the draft. And it's like, of course, it's because you messed up in the draft. So your solution is we screwed up in the draft, but we're not going to go out and fix it. We're not going to pay because they're going to cost too much, bro. Are you that kind of guy that you get an estimate because your roof's leaking and say, well, that's too much money. We're just going to let it leak. The guy before should have fixed it the right way. And since they messed it up, I can't spend that money on it. No, you got to get it fixed. You got to get it fixed. Dude, we literally had Stephen Jones, the guy after the Rams won the Super Bowl, said, well, we don't believe that that's the way you build a football team. At some point, the Bills are going to come due and they're going to be a bad team. Well, guess what, Stephen? We've missed the playoffs the last 2 years. So much for being frugal, thinking that that's the thing to do. But I think what has happened, we know that Jerry Jones will always be omnipresent. He'll probably be buried at the 50-yard line. His spirit will be there no matter what they do. They may end up having, we may want to take sage with us when we go to the games. Smoke sage. Okay. Anyway. Jerry will forever be part of the Dallas Cowboys in the decision making. However, I think he's doing less and less of the daily operations. Now, people said, be careful what you wish for, that Stephen Jones, he ain't going to do much. But I'm actually thinking that right now what we're actually seeing is Stephen Jones taking over more and more. Tay Cowboys in the house. What's up, Tay? How are you doing tonight? Chris May's in the house. What's up, Chris? How are you doing tonight? Welcome, everybody. So what I think is Stephen Jones is taking on more and more of the everyday operations. Logan Motorsports is in the house. And what I believe is he recognizes he can't do all of those things. And so I think he is actually doing things like a normal football team does. He's going to be the final say and pass it on to Dad, but he's getting people delegated to do a job. See, the problem we had before was Jerry Jones, he's out there. I ain't got time to take care of Micah Parsons' contract and everything else because I got all this oil money out here. There's $100 billion out here. Okay, yeah, but the Dallas Cowboys are the ones that's the high-profile one that you should be taking care of. We don't give a rat's ass if you make another $10 or $20 billion. We just want to win a damn game. That's what we want to do, Jerry. Jerry kind of put everything on hold till his timetable. But the Cowboys right now are moving differently than they usually have. They truly are. And today was like a smorgasbord of Stephen Jones. The crazy thing is, and see, people were smart. They're getting smart now. See, John Machota, instead of putting out the whole interview, the whole thing where, you spend 10 minutes and listen to everything, Steve. No, we're going to cut that shit up in little pieces. So that way you have to keep watching. So that way I'll get more and more hits and stuff on there. They're getting wise to the game now. Now, I want to go with Nick Harris. Okay? And Nick Harris had, a couple of these. The Cowboys, I'm going to say, at least sound like they're all in. Oh, shit! Oh, shit! The Cowboys sound like they're all in. Oh, shit! Oh, shit! And I have to applaud. One of the OGs out there, Mike Fisher. Shout out to Mike Fisher. Oh my God. I saw a little clip on Twitter earlier today, and I said, that's my guy. That's my guy. Because it really pisses me off. No, I didn't get mean metal. No, we got about 2 inches of snow and cold. It was rain most of the day, and then it got cold, and we got 2 inches of snow, and it was gone. Now, if you go about 2 hours north of me, they got about 7 inches. So not a lot of snow. Welcome, Mean Metal. Sauce Boss, what's going on, man? How you doing, Sauce Boss? I keep hearing so many of my brethren out here that all are saying, go get Max Crosby. He's going to fix everything. We'll go to the Super Bowl. I'll make that trade 100 times out of 100. Who cares about George Pickens? Who cares about the first-round pick? We just got to get Max Crosby. We got to get Max Crosby. It's like, shut up, you freaking idiot. Are you that stupid to not realize that it's not one freaking guy? And believe me, I've been saying it over and over again. And what it reminded me of, let me tell you, this is the perfect thing. And this is the perfect thought behind it. Because when I heard Mike Fisher was like, people, go get Max Crosby. Okay, yeah, I hear you. But, Max Crosby or George Pickens? Max Crosby or George? Okay. And when he said, well, maybe it's not Max Crosby, but what if you go out there and get, one of the other guys that are like that? He's like, why settle for one? Have both. And what it reminded me of was the movie Colors, and Robert Duvall, rest his soul. They were talking about this young bull and this old bull. They're up on top of the hill, right? The young bull looks over to the big old bull and says, hey, old bull, how about we run down that hill and we fuck one of them cows? Right? The old bull looks at him and says, hey, how about we walk down that hill and we fuck them all? Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Okay, right? Why sit here and say, oh, we'll get rid of, we'll trade George Pickens a first-round pick, we'll get Max Crosby? You may make your defense better, but you're definitely going to hurt your offense. You got an offense that, as it is good enough to win if you got a credible defense. Why do I want to fuck that up? Why do I want to mess that up? I don't want to mess that up. If anything, I want to try and make sure it's even better. I want to fix my offensive line, get jettison Terrence Steele, get me some cash, and get me another right tackle. Find out if Tyler Guyton is the guy. If not, drop him off a bridge and get me somebody else that can play left tackle. I'm not trying to hurt my team or try to help my team by hurting my team. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I want to stockpile talent. I don't want to give it away. And taking George Pickens in the first pick and giving it for Max Crosby in a second is giving your shit away. You're getting fleeced. Stop it. Stop the madness. But what I heard from Stephen Jones today, he's showing, this is the craziest shit. They were right when they were talking about how he is talking about George Pickens. We love George Pickens, we love him. And it opened my eyes to think about this. Because George Pickens, George is George. Okay? He's going to show up late from time to time. Which would you rather have? Would you rather have a guy who shows up a little late like he did against the Raiders and played balls out? Steven, what's going on? How are you doing? And balled out? Or would you rather have Micah Parsons, who teammates would look at him side-eye and have to kind of, what the fuck is wrong with you? Or having him literally doing a podcast with the enemy after you just got your ass handed to you and he can't play? Which one do you look at and say, George Pickens, oh my God, look, everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. Everybody's gone to bat and everything else for him. I don't know that I heard Dak Prescott say, I'm going to go talk to Jerry about the importance of having Micah Parsons. Did you? I don't, and it may have happened. It may have happened. I'm getting older. I'm 60. I do forget a lot of shit. thing. So it might have happened. I just don't remember it. Wolin, Chubb, Blankenship, resign Clowney, and at least win the division. Amen, Jay Porter. Well, but here's the thing. So what we got was Stephen Jones saying, well, Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams, we look at those guys and we need them for years to come. And we've got the restructuring tool that's there, and we can, it's all part of doing business, and we've used them in the past and we'll be using them here. We want to stockpile some talent. Oh, shit. What? I'm sorry. At some point, how many of you out there are Trekkie fans? Seriously, how many of y'all are Star Trek fans? The original one now. The original one. I want Khalil Mack, Demario Davis, Wagner, Blankenship, Dallas Goedert. Oh, I've got something on Jordan. I mean, my man Demario. I got something on that, okay? But if you are an old-time Star Trek fan, there was one that was called Mirror, Mirror. Mirror, Mirror. Mirror, Mirror. That's where they went to the alternate universe, and you had the evil Mr. Spock. He had the mustache and the goatee and everything else, and the evil Captain Kirk. That everything was just backwards from what they were used to. Right? I almost feel like Mirror, Mirror has happened with the Cowboys. The Cowboys, they searched high and low for a defensive coordinator. They didn't go for an old guy that they were comfortable with, that, Jerry could sit there and drink some whiskey with and talk and reminisce about the old days. They got a young guy who I don't think that he's going to be taking any shit, that he's just happy to have a job. Christian Parker is coming here with a mission. I'm coming here, we're going to win some games, and I'm going to move on and be a head coach. And you better not get in my damn way. We're going to put foot in asses. And I'm going to show Vic Fangio that the student is now the teacher. You sitting here looking at Schottenheimer and Christian Parker looking like mom and dad then gone on vacation, and we about to throw the biggest damn party. This is going to be the legendary party, the party to end all. Look, it's going to be the raging kegger here. Mom and dad, didn't that look like you? Am I crazy? Yes, Mark, remember that. Damn, you old man. I thought I was old. I am old, okay? I was born in the mid-'60s. Boots to asses. So let's get a little taste of the real Stephen Jones. I know you guys thought that Stephen Jones was actually sitting here, but it was me. I wonder if they have a Stephen Jones mask. And one other thing, have you noticed how bald Stephen Jones is getting right now? He's getting real thin up top. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, all those guys are obviously guys that we've got to work with. We're going to need their room, both of them, to work through that. And then we just see when we're done thinking, hey, we think we've put together the right defense here. Then you start to think about, extending guys and who's going to be here, even past where their contract's taken.
Even past where their contracts. He's talking about Quentin Williams and Kenny Clark. Because here's what the stuff. So I just love it. I love it because the Cowboys are doing the opposite of what everybody is saying they're going to do. Remember, we had some jackass out there say, "Oh, well, the Cowboys they should trade Kenny Clark to Cincinnati along with the 7th round pick to get a 6. I'm like, what the fuck what are you talking about? So that way they can free up some capital. It's like, you can restructure the money he has. Mark, you are losing it. I'm not losing it, man. I'm just excited, man. I'm excited because it sounds like the Joneses are trying to do everything, or excuse me, Stephen Jones is trying to do everything to win. Listen, when Jerry said we're going all in, and I'm sitting here watching player after player after player leave, and you're going, what's going on here? Y'all remember? Stephon Gilmore leaves, okay? Biotish leaves. Tight end Dalton Schultz leaves, okay? Dorrance Armstrong leaves. Randy Gregory leaves, Y'all, we're just watching all this stuff go, we're all in. And we do nothing to replace any of these guys. Nothing. But right now, we got, I'm almost there, Anthony. Okay, I'm coming back on. But right now, we've got Stephen Jones saying, hey, we want to hold on our kicker. Oh, we can gain about $131 million, Carl, on the restructures. And we also we can get room if we cut some players too. But he's talking about keeping our kicker. He's talking about, we're going to tag Pickins and work on a long-term deal. We're going to probably restructure Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams to hold on to them, right? And he's talking about going in free agency and possibly, we could trade our first-round pick. So, so here's my thing. Unlike other people that say, oh, it's good to have George Pickens on a franchise tag. All the talking heads. Oh, yes, George Pickens on a franchise tag. That makes complete sense because, they can't pay CeeDee Lamb and everything. It's like, you guys are freaking on TV. Do you not understand how the salary tag, how the salary cap works? Because, the Eagles at the time paid A.J. Brown to be one of the top receivers in the NFL and then ended up paying Devontae Smith really good money, and they ended up paying like Lane Johnson, top of the market money, and then they ended up paying, Jalen Hurts at that time, top of the market money, and then of course later on they end up going through and blowing everybody's contract out of the water, getting guys like Saquon Barkley. So they can go through and sign people, but let the Dallas Cowboys want to sign 2 wide receivers. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, yes you can. Yes you can. Because that salary cap number is a hard freaking number. Hard number. And it's going to be a hard 28. CeeDee Lamb, year 3 of his contract, when they flip the trigger, will only be $19 million. Last year was 13. The year before was 8.5. How does it make sense? How does it make sense to pay George Pickens a hard $28 million? Because you know what you can do with that $20 million that you would save by getting him a long-term contract? You could go out and get somebody like my man, Demario Davis. Oh, shit! Oh, shit! I am tired. One of these times, the Dallas Cowboys are going to listen to me. And I hope it's not too late. Okay? I wanted Bobby Wagner when Bobby Wagner wanted to be a part of the Cowboys when Dan Quinn was here. And, of course, oh, he's too old. He's too old. No, not Bobby Wagner. You see what he's still doing at his age, right? I wanted Calais Campbell last year. Calais Campbell would have been one of the best people we had on the defensive line last year. Calais Campbell, I believe, had 7 sacks last year at 38 years of age. I wanted him after he left the Cardinals. Oh, he's too expensive and too old. And damn if he wasn't runner-up at defensive MVP the next year. Demario Davis. Demario, it looks like Davis and Hill have void contracts upcoming, and cutting Kamara would essentially be no cap savings. So will the Saints extend contracts on players to lower cap figures? There's already been rumblings of Davis possibly playing elsewhere in 26. Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Discussions on all these players will mold how the Saints move forward in free agency and the draft. Davis spent the last 8 seasons, God, has it been that long since he's been at my house? With the New Orleans Saints, the franchise pillar. Or excuse me, as their franchise pillar. Of the 3, Davis is the guy to watch the closest. He's acknowledged that he is planning on playing in 26, but has made it sound like he's open to other options. I'm coming back to the NFL, Davis said. I'm coming back to the NFL, and I'm excited about that. I am super excited about that. I am training all the way through the Super Bowl, so my body feels great. I'm just excited. I'm just excited for the offseason. We'll finish up these games, watching them through the Super Bowl, and then get into my offseason regimen. How that plays out, we shall see. Now, I'm going to tell you, Demario Davis, okay? Demario, that is the epitome. Okay, that's the peak. That is... Oh, yeah, without a doubt, Calais Campbell's a future Hall of Famer. He's got like 120 sacks in his career. Demario Davis, now, for everybody who's going to say, he's too old. Demario Davis, last season, you want to hear some shit? Now, his sack totals did go down last year. He only had a half a sack. But he had 143 tackles. Oh, shit! 64 solo tackles. Oh, shit. 6 tackles for loss. 2 quarterback hits. And is at 36 years of age. And you talk about the heart and soul of a team. You talk about a leader. Demario Davis is everything that you want. You want somebody like Demario Davis who plays downhill. And I'm going to tell you, his offseason regimen, he destroys his body and builds that sucker back up. And as he said, when I had him in my house, that's right, he loves my shrimp and grits, said, when you sign me, you will get the best version of me. I will give you everything I have. And if I look at Pro Football, let me look at Pro Football Focus where they had him rated last year, okay? Overall grade, an 80.3. Oh, shit! 6th best in the NFL. Oh, shit! Had 1,079 snaps, 10th most of any linebacker in the NFL last year. Oh, shit! So, yes, he's a baller, a shot caller, and a type of guy that you would love to put on a team like the Cowboys. And Sugar Daddy isn't trolling when you're telling the truth. Big Spank Dog, shut your bitch ass up. Shut up. Your team is trash. I don't know. Big Spank Dog, look. For you, buddy. For you. You get the finger. All right? Shut up, Big Spank Dog. I'm sick and tired of you between you and frickin' Momo. Every time I look to see Momo doing a live stream, he talking about the Cowboys or he talking about the Eagles. Do you even talk? The Big Spank Dog, you always coming in here telling us what we're not going to do. Why don't you tell us what your team's going to do? Why don't you tell us all of the great moves that your team's going to do, like Deebo Samuels? Huh? Jalen Daniels trying to put on a little bit of weight because he's got them toothpick for legs. Kiss my high yellow ass, man. With you coming in here hating on the Cowboys. Knowing that your team lost not once but twice to us. And we were ass. I mean ass. That's like Logan Wilson couldn't beat out Kenneth Murray. That's how that's you. You're Logan Wilson. You can't even beat out Kenneth Murray. Now shut up. Mark, not only a wise move, but we'll save money if we get there. Yeah. Look, experience, a veteran who's looking to try and get a ring before he checks out. Godly man, God-fearing, and Lord, he got a lot of kids too. With one woman. One woman. Okay, he's not like Diggs or the Diggs brother that got 10 baby mamas. He got one baby mama and like 7 kids. Might be 8. That's something I got to talk to him and see. It might be 8, but it's all with one woman. He's a God-fearing man, and he takes care of himself, and he is a leader. You want to talk about culture? You want to talk about culture? That's Jordan Davis. Demario Davis. Sorry. Demario Davis. That's the kind of guy that they're talking about for the Cowboys. Demario Davis. And if they let him go, if the Cowboys do not kick the can on that one, so it sounds like I live in Seaville, Mark. Big Spank Dog. Can I come watch the game? Big Spank Dog, you can come. Yeah, you come in here and talk that Dallas Cowboys will be. We'll slap you around some. Yes. Cowboys, Washington. Yes. Spank, you can't handle the truth. Okay. You fools got me wound up. All right, let me take a little hiatus here and let somebody else talk for a minute because I got to catch my breath. Y'all got me all worked up.
You talked a little bit about George Pickens, and this is the thing about George Pickens that I really like is there was an amount of time where CD was out, and George Pickens really came to life for the Dallas Cowboys and had the relationship that he started to establish with Dak. And that just helped them when CeeDee Lamb did come back. Now it was truly a 1A, 1B, and you could interchange it as the seasons went on. What I'm looking forward to this offseason from the Dallas Cowboys is what they've been doing on the defensive side of the football, because we kind of know what you're going to get offensively. You know you're going to get that high powered, a lot of yardage. Dak was phenomenal in this past year, in my opinion. You signed Javonte Williams back. That solidifies the run game. But on the defense was the biggest question mark this past season. And talk about acquisitions. When they brought on Quinnen Williams, that whole defense took on a whole new identity. The run game, they were stout. Like the drastic change for them in the run game, having Quinnen Williams in there, it was huge. Now, they hired Christian Parker as their defensive coordinator. Christian Parker comes from Philly. Vic Fangio is one of the best defensive coordinators and defensive minds in the entire NFL. Now you bring Christian Parker in there. He was a pass game coordinator
and drops the ball.
An experience as a defensive back coach, so you can understand what that's going to do for that secondary. Now there's things with Diggs, with Bland, all of that stuff. But when you have somebody like Christian Parker come into the equation and is allowed to settle that secondary, I think that puts the Dallas Cowboys in a position defensively where now that can be a stronghold for them, because they started to play better on that side of the football late in the season. But now that you have somebody from the Eagles defense to come in there and establish that type of defensive format, I think that would be good for them, sir.
I like what he's saying there. Where was it? DFW Sports Fan. Yes. If you just email me, cowboysmark94@gmail. My wife does make the shirts and stuff and all that. So yes, we do have Cowboy Joe Boo, our website and stuff, if you want to check it out. And I've got her working. I'm working on some ideas and things. Okay. Now, some of you that are old like me, you might remember Georgia of the Jungle, friend to you and me. Watch out for that tree. Okay, anyway. George of the Jungle? Okay. All right, that one's not that good. All right, but I need some more ideas. But I was thinking about Schottenheimer and Christian Parker, where Shotty's holding on to him and he's smiling. And I was thinking, say hello to my little friend. Scarface reference. Anyone? Scarface. Say hello to my little friend. Okay. All right. I need some ideas for shirts for this year, man. I got to get it. Or maybe I get one with Stephen Jones. I'm a changed man. I've saw the light. Okay. And pass me some whiskey. Okay. George of the Jungle, Super Chicken, Tom Slick. Yeah, listen, I'm old. I'm going way back here. Hook me up with anti-Eagle gear. There you go. Crazy. Look, upon further review, the Eagles still stink. Okay. All right. The Cowboys are definitely looking to do some things. Is Momo in here? It's funny how Momo, he gets on my show, he won't shut up, but then he won't come in here and Tony Boo, what's up, Tony? But then he won't come in here and comment. So it's like he comes in to bloviate and make, try and get everybody all worked up so that we will go through it. Man Roof, what's going on? How are you doing? Cat and Jane? Victor Davis, 49ers, get out of here. You don't belong here, even if you're not a Cowboy fan. No, we welcome everybody. We welcome everybody here on the Jobu Sports Report because, it's good to actually get different perspectives from other people, even if it's Big Spank Dog. And shout out to Big Spank Dog because he's only about 20 miles away from me right now. If we can get our shit together, if we take Stephen Jones at his word of what he said today, and the thing about Stephen Jones, I'm going to tell you the first time that I realized Stephen Jones was no bullshitter. You don't like what you hear from Stephen Jones, but he won't lie to you. It goes back to when Dez Bryant was here, and it was whether or not the Cowboys were going to keep Dez Bryant. And that was about the same time that Terrence Williams had his Ferrari wrecked. And if you remember, he was supposedly walking out to the highway or something or other, and he was a little tipsy and stuff. Turned out that it was a stripper that had his car and wrecked it. So at that time, Jerry was being asked, Jerry, what's going to go on with, Dez Bryant and stuff? Hey, Jerry, you can't think about the Dallas Cowboys without thinking about Dez Bryant. He's part of the family. We just love him and things, right? That's what we got from Jerry. And you had Stephen Jones who was talking about that Terrence Williams, so I don't know what happened with his car and things, but, Terrence is a good people and stuff. And they said, now, what about Dez Bryant? And all of a sudden his got serious. He said, well, we're going to have some real conversations about Dez Bryant and things, and we're going to have to sit down and make some decisions. And I was like, whoa. And it was the Cowboys ended up getting rid of him. Stephen Jones does not lie to you, and he will not make bullshit up like Jerry Jones. He does not. And like I said, usually you don't like hearing what he says. Greg, I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. Appreciate that. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure you tell people. Hit the like button and make sure you come back and subscribe to the channel. Last season, we had the same discussion about Micah. What happened in the end? Well, Clint, you're right. You're right. But you know what? We've had the same conversation about D-Law. We had the same conversation about Zeke. We had the same conversation about Dak. So if we want to look at it and say, well, they got it right 5 or 6 times. One time it didn't work out. But and I'm going to say this too. There was always some questions about Micah Parsons. Because I believe it was a year or maybe 2 years before, we had heard rumors that the Cowboys were getting tired of some of the antics of Micah Parsons. We knew that there was a locker room issue between him and D-Law. Now, at the time, we all sided with Micah Parsons. We remember when Hooker was talking about Micah Parsons. It's like, maybe you shouldn't be doing a podcast, when we're giving up 200 yards on the ground. There were issues. If you go back, and this is one of the things, see, it's kind of like when you're a parent, your kids can't do anything wrong. Oh, no, not my son, not my kids. No, your kid's a badass. That your kid is trifling, badass, always in trouble, piece of crap. You just ignoring it. Oh, no, Johnny wouldn't do anything to that. Mark, do you think Dak loses confidence in our offense if we trade Pickens? Much love from South Texas. Love your content. Lizzie Ivan. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you. I don't think he loses confidence in himself because we've seen him throw 36 TDs when he had, was it Noah Brown? He'll play. He's going to always be confident and cocky and talk shit. Now, the question will will he have people out there that can handle the pressure of being a Dallas Cowboy receiver? I don't want to go back to the Noah Browns or the Jalen Tolberts and anybody out there who thinks that, we don't need George Pickens. We got Ryan Fedor. Oh, shit. You're kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself if you believe that Ryan Fedor is George Pickens. Because if the Cowboys believed Ryan Fedor was George Pickens, they wouldn't have traded for George Pickens now, would they? Would they have? They would have said, no, we're good. We don't want that hassle. But Stephen Jones also said they're open to all options, including trades. Yes, they are. Of course, you don't want to tell everybody exactly what you're doing. But you didn't hear, did you not hear Stephen Jones talk about how much he loves George Pickens and part of the family? They got the franchise tag. They're not going to trade him. They're not trading him. They're not trading him. They will get a long-term deal done, and I believe they're actually going to go through and do some things in free agency. We've never heard that there are actually going to be players in free agency before, but we're actually hearing that now, not from the regular talking heads and stuff, but people who know. Jerry Jones has to understand when he's talking about his legacy. Think about the last time we really heard Jerry talking about his legacy. He wants to retire with more Super Bowls than anybody else. Well, I don't think anybody's three-peated before. Back-to-back is hell. So he's going to need to get this shit turned around real quick. And not to say that he's not going to live to be 120 just to piss off Cowboys Nation. But I know I've lost a lot of people. That 85, 86 number seems to be that spot. It was almost a year ago. It will be next month. 3 weeks apart that I lost my father-in-law at 86 and my dad at 86. And so I believe they have a sense of urgency. And I think they will work hard to try and get this thing done. There's no guarantees in anything in here. But Jerry Jones, I think here's what I think happened. I think Micah Parsons, being the guy that he is, he went in there at the Super Bowl, at the Cotton Bowl, the national championship, and hanging out with Jerry, that they were talking numbers and everything else. And then when his agent got wind of it and said, bro, we got the numbers for what they're willing to do. That's our starting point. And then Jerry Jones felt like, oh, you guys are trying to screw me. No, we had this deal. We're not changing it. And then all of those questions that we had and things that happened, you start putting together and saying, damn, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. I forgot about that. That's when you start putting those pieces together and say, do I want to go ahead and tie myself for the next 4 years and, $150, $175 million? And is this going to get me where I need to be? because my time is getting short. I've just survived cancer. Yeah, he told him play on the tag or leave. That was the final. Yeah, he did. The star, he did, because he was like, "We're done. I'm not." Listen, I'm rich, bitch. And we had a deal. You want to go ahead and play on that deal that you and I had negotiated and talked about? Fine. If not, play on the tag or leave. If I die tomorrow, I will die happy to see Eagles win 2 Super Bowls. Well, I don't know if I'll die happy. I don't never know. I don't think I'm ever going to die. I'm never going to be, yes, I did. No, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think I will be content with the things that I've seen, that I have seen my kids grow up, that I've had 23 plus years with a great, incredible woman, that I've got great friends and family, and that I've seen the Cowboys with 5 Logan's Motorsports, 5. Let me say it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Super Bowls. Oh, do I need? You see the rings up here? The rings. 5, Logan. 5. So you're happy about 2. How much? How do you think I must be about 5, Logan? Huh? If Jerry signed George Pickens, you know how much cap salary committed to the offense? Clint, here's what I can tell you, bro. The Dallas Cowboys, by hook or crook, right now at this moment, sitting here today, because they haven't refreshed everything, the Dallas Cowboys are minus $24 million. Okay? In the negative. You can add on about $4 million more because of Javonte Williams, but they're a better team having Javonte Williams come back, and that $8 million per year is actually a really good number. Especially when you think that we spent $10.5 million for Tony Pollard for 1 year and got 1,000 yards. Especially when you think that we paid Zeke Elliott like $17 million a year. That's a bargain. Okay. So that puts us about $28 million over the cap. The salary cap's going to go up about $25 million. Okay? $25 million. Got it? So that puts us about $3 million in the hole. Well, we have the rollover. The rollover. Money we didn't spend last year, $21 million. Oh, shit! Oh, shit! So that puts us at about $18 million, right? If you hypothetically gave George Pickens CD's contract, CeeDee Lamb was only $8.5 million the first year. Okay? So that gives you $9.5 million right there. $9.5 million. So if I said to you, we got George Pickens signed, we got Javonte Williams under contract, right? The league year started, and we have $9 million right now, and we haven't touched the trigger, and we haven't cut anybody. Nobody. Because you could, like, push Terrence Steele out the door and get $9 million. Boom. Or if you make him in June 1st, $14 million. You can flip a trigger on Dak Prescott's contract and get $31 million. Just like this. Look. You want to know how easy it is? $31 million. You could do the same thing with CeeDee Lamb and get $19 million. You could do the same thing with Kenny Clark and get yourself $10 million. You could do that with Quentin Williams and get yourself $12 million. You could do that with Tyler Smith and get yourself about $12 million. You can even do it with Jake Ferguson and get yourself $5 million. You could go ahead and pull out, if you wanted to, $131 million plus the 9 that you have right there. So that could be potentially $140 million that you could have. Now, your rookie class, you do have 2 first-round picks, is going to cost you about $10 million. So that means you could potentially have $130 million, George Pickens under contract, have 2 first-round picks and $130 million to play with. I don't care that how much money is already spent on George Pickens. He's 25 years old, and he's a baller. I have seen Noah Brown, Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to interfere with what I have as one of the best offenses in football. I can now go out and sign a Demario Davis. I can go out and get a Reed Blankenship. I can go out and get an offensive tackle. Bobby, I have an idea for a shirt mark. Jerry's driving his yacht and Dak's water skiing behind, and on his way to Cancun in 26, Eagles run the East. Can't stop the cap. Oh, Bobby. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. You got jokes, man. You got jokes. Okay. Talk to me about that Kenny Clark cap hit. Buy or sell. He is a $20.5 million hit, although it's no guarantee money. You could cut him tomorrow and get $20.5 million. Or you could restructure the money that he has on that and get it down to $9.5 million. Or you can just get a new contract for him at a lesser value because he is kind of older and he may want to stay. There's all kinds of things you can do if you want to do them. Now, this is going kind of all in, doing a la what the Eagles do. But I'm tired of hearing people say, you can't pay 2 receivers. The Eagles did. The Eagles paid everybody on their offensive line, 2 wide receivers, and a running back. Why is it the Cowboys can't? Why is it they can't? Anyway, let me say from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate each and every one of you guys, but I'm tired, y'all. You know, I'm 60 years old, and, you know, I can't stay up late at night. But we're going to have a good week this week with the Combine. At some point, we'll get to Jerry Jones on the bus. And he's going to say some stupid shit. You know he's going to say some stupid shit that we'll have to run with. But I got to say, I like what I've heard. All right, good people. As always, I appreciate you. And make sure you hit the like button on the way out. And I will see you guys soon. Peace out.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.